What movie will you always recommend to people? r/askreddit. Goodfellas. Every scene is flawless. It's the master at his best. The Thing. Stand By Me. I never had friends like the ones I did when I was 12. Jesus, does anybody? Galaxy Quest. The Truman Show. Truman, I want to be an explorer. Teacher, oh, you're too late. There's nothing left to explore. This movie is so great. Coming to America. The royal penis is clean, Your Highness. Thank you. Kinks. Howl's Moving Castle. I always recommend almost every Miyazaki/Studio Ghibli movies, but this one is my favorite. Young Frankenstein. Literally anything with Gene Wilder in it would made my list, but Young Frankenstein is for sure his best work. At least, it's my favorite. Terminator 2, because it's Terminator 2. Good Will Hunting. Heathers, you start off thinking it's a teenage rom-com about typical high school problems, and then 30 minutes and you realize you were terribly wrong and people are now getting killed. Dear Diary, my teen angst now has a body count. Such a good album. Groundhog Day. Just an amazing movie on how people can change for the better. If you have 100 years to do it. Try 10,000 years. I was going to say that it is a lot more than 100 years. I read an article once that's how long he had been stuck in the time loop based partially off the idea that it takes 10,000 hours to become proficient at certain things. My memory isn't 100% on the movie, but I do remember that he learned to play the piano and ice sculpt when he was stuck in the loop. What I don't understand is why his piano teacher was so excited by his progress. I mean, sure, he'd had thousands of lessons from her, but from her perspective, he only had one lesson. I took it more as he was already this good, but came to her for lessons. Like she felt he had more to learn from her, and she was bragging about it. Airplane. I have a drinking problem. Said every time I spill water over side of my face. The Mummy. Brendan Fraser. It's such a fun movie. Looks like you're on the wrong side of the river. Bye Bye Benny. Screams of a toss gremlin. He was a fantastic Igor in the Van Helsing movie. Dracula. Igor, why do you torture that beast so? Igor, it's what I do. Do unto others before they do unto me. The Silence of the Lambs. The Iron Giant. I will never forget this movie because of how important it was to my siblings and me one particular day. Dad hated going grocery shopping. He often stated I'd rather peel off my skin. It was an act of sacrifice and teamwork to say you would go with him because of the way he worked us like it was a contest. Despite the usual apprehension, that day all three of us went with him. Instead of going grocery shopping, he took us all straight to the Iron Giant in theaters. We were gobsmacked. After, we sat on the tailgates together eating drumstick ice cream cones. The best trickery and the best day with Dad. The Matrix. Hands down my favorite movie, something I always tell people to watch. My Cousin Vinny. A stone cold classic and Joe Pesci and Marisa Tomei's chemistry is brilliant. Edit. Well, I guess a lot of people also like this film. That was my dad's favorite movie and he would watch it every time he could. For his last birthday, before he passed, I bought it for him on DVD and now every year on his birthday I watch it and just laugh and cry thinking about the times we had when I was young. It's such a good movie. Second-Hand Lions. Hell yes. Michael Caine and Robert Duvall are amazing. The kid is a little stiff egg. His previous role was literally a robot, but the brothers more than make up for it. I love this film. The Kid. Hallie Joel Osment, isn't it? The Count of Monte Cristo. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. It's a bit lesser known, so a lot of people haven't seen it, and it's so good. The Nice Guys. Too. Shane Black has his moments. How many times have I told you? Don't say and stuff. Just say Dad. There are whores here. The Life of Brian. Edit. Everyone who liked this has biggest energy. Always look on the bright side of life. Love this one. And now we'll have that song stuck in my head for a week. Clueless. Rollin' with the homies. Rip Brittany Murphy. Clueless is on Netflix. I'm a 30-year-old man, and do that dumb bassam movement whenever I think of this song. God help me. Wayne's World. It's just good dumb fun, which in 2020 we need more than ever. I hate Wayne's World. Not. Oh brother, where art thou? I love the soundtrack in this film. Good old Soggy Bottom Boys. I am a man of constant Saru. Office Space. I enjoyed the silly humor and over-the-top soundtrack as a kid. Now I work in a sea of cubicles for a faceless corporation and can relate on every level. Aside from the operating system you briefly see on computer screens, it's incredible how relevant everything about that type of job still is more than 20 years later. So I was sitting in my cubicle today, and I realized, ever since I started working, every single day of my life has been worse than the day before it. So that means that every single day that you see me, that's on the worst day of my life. What about today? Is today the worst day of your life? Yay. Wow. That's messed up. Princess Mononoke. Look, everyone. This is what hatred looks like. This is what it does when it catches hold of you. It's eating me alive, and very soon it will kill me. Emperor's New Groove. Easily the best movie Disney has ever produced, not to mention the spectacular jokes. Every character is amazing, and I will recommend this movie until the day I die. Edit. Turns out the movie is from Disney and not Pixar. Sorry about that. Edit 2. Thank you so much, kind strangers that gave me awards. I love you all. Cusco. Let me guess. Sharp rocks at the bottom? Patcher. Most likely. Cusco. Bring it on. Boo-ah-ha-ha-ha-ha. The Princess Bride. Why do you wear a mask? Were you burned by acid, or something like that? Oh no. It's just they're terribly comfortable. I think everyone will be wearing them in the future. The Fire Swamp. We'll never survive. Nonsense. You only say that because no one ever has. Wall-E. Best Pixar film in my opinion. Raiders of the Lost Ark is the perfect action movie for me. The intro to Indiana Jones in the jungle is perfect, even with little dialogue. The pacing is great. The characters are solid. The humor is natural. The environments are diverse. And the music is unforgettable. Just an awesome, fun time. I do like the argument that Indy is completely irrelevant to the plot of the movie. The Nazis will open the Ark anyway and all kill themselves without Indy's involvement. No way, man. Without Indy, who will tell the Nazis it belongs in a museum? So do you. Spirited Away. This. I wish I could purge it from my memory so I could experience the first time watching this awesome movie once more. Watch it with people who haven't seen it and keep your mouth shut throughout the entire film. Live vicariously through them. Jurassic Park. It might seem cheesy by today's standards, but those special effects were mind-blowing in 1993. They still look good today. The biggest difference between the dinos' introductions in 1 and 2 Lost World is scale and distance. In 1, they're far away and look more natural as a result. Feet are also cleverly hidden. In 2, Malcolm is among the Stegosaurus, and this really hurt the CGI mo. The original is just a masterclass in framing and pacing to create believability and weight in threat. The Fifth Element. I don't know why I love this movie, I just do. It's sci-fi and it's action, but realistic because the future isn't a utopia. As is light. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Who are you who is so wise in the ways of science? Well, he hasn't got all over him. Now go away, or I shall taunt you a second time. Young Frankenstein and or Blazing Saddles. The fact that Mel Brooks got these both released in the same year always amazes me. So unabashedly, sophomorically fun and didn't give a rip about who got offended. What We Do in the Shadows. One of the best comedies in the last decade, if not 2 decades. The TV series is just as good as the movie mo. I honestly have lost count of how many times I watched that movie. It's so endlessly quotable. A Knight's Tale. It's not the most popular movie, but it's just a fun movie that is an absolute pleasure to watch. Love how they nail Geoffrey Chaucer. Clue. It's a premise that hasn't worked since, with a stellar comedic cast and great writing. The fact they made 3 or more endings for the same movie and all of them could make sense is a testament to the writing. Plus it's infinitely quotable. Edit. I've seen Knives Out and think it's also a great movie. The acting and writing was very good. Murder by Death is one I keep meaning to see, but never seem to get around to. In regards to the part about the premise, I meant that Coup is the only movie based on a board game that worked. The side of my face. Every time I see this quote on Reddit I have to chime in and say that Madeline can improvise that entire part. Truly a national treasure. She is sorely missed. Schindler's List. 12 Angry Men. The film is over 60 years old and it still holds up so well. I know that movie is good because I watched it as a 13-year-old little tits in school and still enjoyed it. I used that film when going over the judicial system when I taught U.S. Gov to juniors in high school. That is such a powerful movie. All my students truly learned a lot from it, including human nature. Your Name. Beautiful animation, great story, and an amazing soundtrack. It'll be my favorite movie for a long time. I've never really watched any anime before, not because I don't like it, but just because I never have time to really get into it. Me and a friend were up late one night and he wanted to watch a movie, so he showed me Your Name, and holy p's did I cry several times. The movie is fantastic, and I highly recommend it to everyone, no matter your interests. Snatch. Edit. Thanks for the gold anonymous stranger. Edit. And silver and shooting star looking thing too. Dire like Dags. Dags. Amelie. The Prestige for some classic Nolan thriller. Everyone I show it to who starts out uninterested becomes enthralled by the end. Galaxy Quest. Never give up. Never surrender. Apocalypse Now director's cut. A war movie full of dark humor that highlights the ridiculousness and futility of it all, and a journey into the depths of the human psyche that's piled up so fast in Vietnam you needed wings to stay above it. Shawshank Redemption and Crazy, Stupid, Love. Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. It is the best movie I have ever seen, and is the final installment in the DC Animated Universe Flashpoint Paradox series. Starship Troopers. The Big Lebowski. 13. It's definitely already been said that Heathers is and always will be the best teen comedy there is. Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension. Grandma's Boy. Little Man Tate. Downloaded it on my first generation iPod. Ravenous 1999. It's a western. It's a horror film. It's a dark comedy. I've never seen anything quite like it. Almost Anything with Jake Gyllenhaal. Nightcrawler and End of Watch are both incredible films. Hands down gotta be Breakfast Club. Easy Rider. I know it's an old one, but it can be incredibly relevant still today. Plus the acting and the soundtrack are timeless. Fargo. Cable Guy. About Time. The Warriors. One of the best 1979 films I've ever seen. The Harry Potter films. Easily my favorite movie saga ever. Hilarious dad moment. I was playing Got Your Nose with my 2 and 5-year-old. I told my 5-year-old daughter that I once took a bad guy's nose and never gave it back. I showed her a picture of Voldemort as proof. She told me I was very brave. Forrest Gump. Pulp Fiction. The whole movie is quotable. American Beauty. Pulp Fiction 1994. Saving Private Ryan. Stranger Than Fiction. Josie and the Ps. SLC Punk. Matthew Lillard's best performance IMHO. Cemetery Man. Perfect mix of horror and kitsch comedy. Amazing soundtrack. Any of the John Wick movies. Just phenomenally well executed pieces of action cinema. Heavy Metal 1981. Coming to America. It's an Eddie Murphy and Saul classic. Kung POW. Enter the Fist. The Imitation Game. When We Were Kings. It is a documentary about Muhammad Ali fighting George Foreman in Africa. I hate boxing but this made me love Muhammad Ali. Coco. Such a beautiful, bright film which explores the theme of death and the Mexican Dias de los Muertos festival which celebrates its dead. Beautiful, insightful and it had me sobbing, not because it was sad per se, but because it had so many emotions right through. Really well animated too. Big Fish. It's not really a movie, but I recommend everybody JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Tucker and Dale vs Evil. A funny movie and a twist on cliche horror stuff. Mr. Nobody. Brokeback Mountain. People think it's just Up's movie, but the allegory is universal and thus relatable. Space Truckers is my pick. I emit a low amp, electrical one pulse. About Time. Silver Linings Playbook and Devil Wears Prada. Nowhere near my favorite movies, but they can be enjoyed by nearly any person in any mood. Kung Fu Panda. I'm 17, and it's still the best movie I have ever seen in my life, and I stand by that with my heart. Hacksaw Ridge. Shawshank Redemption. Pursuit of Happiness. Kung Fu Hustle. As Bill Murray once said, there should have been a day of mourning for American comedy the day that movie came out, because it was the supreme achievement of modern comedy. Requiem for a Dream. Scarface. Godfather. Scent Woman. The Lighthouse. Layer Cake. Let's make it 10. 10's a nice, round number. The Mothman Prophecies. I'm David was good recently. Trading Places. Happy Death Day. The Crow. Jojo Rabbit. The Wood. It's a well done coming of age movie with a nice, happy ending. But most importantly, it's a movie I specifically recommend to anyone who isn't a black American to offer a glimpse of just regular life. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Shawshank Redemption. King Arthur. Legend of the Sword. I love that movie. The humor, acting, actors, CGI, everything. I especially love the soundtrack. I hate that it didn't do well in theaters, because now there's no sequel planned. Jeremiah Johnson. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. The Sting. 3 Idiots. Drive. Boss Baby. El Hoyo or The Platform. I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. Super great story that I think anyone could enjoy. Happy Cake Day. Kingsman. Both parts and Deadpool both parts. Some Like It Hot. The Fall. Star Wars A New Hope. Deadpool. His GF.